speaker this morning, Mark Guy, The Language of Courage. The Language of Courage, Mark Guy.
Thank you, April. My mom was always right. And if you have any doubt, you have to meet my mom. She and my grandfather always told me, if you tell a man 100 times that he's a coward, he will become one. Mom, why are you telling me the stories? I was just 8 years old, and I didn't believe a word she was telling me. It took me another 30 years to realize the power of words. We live in a world with words. We're Toastmasters. We listen, we speak, we write. Words can lead, words can impede. Words can hurt, and words can heal. My first big discovery about words started when I was a little boy. I spent my childhood in Siberia. Some of you are probably thinking, what did he do to be sent to Siberia? Let me assure you, I did not go for the weather. I am the oldest of 4 children, just like you, the big brother. 2 more brothers after me and 1 sister. The winters in Siberia, it felt like they dragged on for years. But the reality was about 7 or 8 months out of the year. It was cold, gloomy, and dreary. We were stuck inside the home with my siblings. As soon as the summer came, it was time for us to go. And the summer was maybe a month, maybe 2 months. What made it worse is that our parents worked all the time. And we missed them dearly. So as soon as the summer came, it was time for us to go. Being 8, 9 years old, I had the brilliant idea. Why don't we go surprise our parents at work? Makes sense, right? There was only one problem. One of my brothers has suffered with autism. He lived in a world with little words, and I believe in a world of fear. How to get him outside to take trips to see our parents? And I used stories. I told him, Artur, today we're going to go on an adventure. We're not going to just take a bus. We're going to take a magic carpet ride. And the bus driver is going to be the wizard and a noble knight that's going to help us find the treasure. Are you coming? And inside he had big brown eyes. I saw courage to join us on our adventures. The words we use create our reality. What are the words you use to speak to yourself and to the world around you? My interest in words had led me to an interesting research finding. Did you know that in English language, the word fear has 1,163 synonyms? Fear, dread, terror, consternation, apprehension, trepidation. But my favorite synonym is FOMO, fear of missing out. I can tell you first. You ever wonder, with so many synonyms for fear, how come we're not scared to death? Maybe we are. The word courage has only 661 synonyms. Bravery, strength, audacity, fortitude. The ratio of fear to courage is 2 to 1. The language of fear is twice as big as the language of courage. What are we so afraid of? Why do we have twice as many words to describe what we really fear? I believe it's a problem. It's a problem how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to everyone around us. And I believe that problem comes into focus when we experience low points in our lives, just like you have described, and you as well. Dawn and Allison. I'd like to share with you briefly a personal story of failure. Some of you know I have achieved a certain degree of success. I got a construction business, beautiful wife, a home. But after the personal hurricane of fear touched down in my life, everything was gone in an instant. I remember sitting on the couch of my friend in his house, homeless, thinking, how the heck am I going to get out of this? Have you ever felt like that? Like you're not good enough. Nobody's ever going to love you. You will never find another job. You'll never find another home. It is that at that moment I'm reminded, if we stay in that state, when we look back at our lives, we will see the patchwork of moments of silence and defeat and loss that are sewn together with fear. The language of fear is twice as big as the language of courage. But darn it, if I'm going to stay in that position. See, you have a choice. You have a decision to make, to be afraid or to be courageous. Luckily for me, I was taught that by people in my life who told me, yes, sometimes you have to lose everything to find out who you really are, and then you get to decide. So I'd like to offer you 3 points to think about. Decide to change your language, replace, and become. Decide to say, today fear is not your day. Put it in the back seat. And find courage. Replace fear with audacity, trepidation with serenity, and dread with strength. And become courage warrior with words. Because I know you can. Thank you.